My name is Adam. I am a student at McGill University. I'm also the Google Developer Student Club lead for McGill. Outside of school, I work in biotech. So if you're interested in the industry, I do like drug discovery. Just come talk to me. I'm like very receptive to talking about it. So in May, I was invited with everyone else to go to I/O, and here I'm going to give a recap of our trip and hopefully fill in some gaps between the presentations, but I'll try to skip what has already been mentioned. Google I/O was 2 days. Day one was mostly the Google and developer keynotes. They announced a lot of things, mostly AI related, but part of the afternoon was also breakouts and demos, and I'll show you some pictures of that later. And then we wrapped up with a party and dancing at the developer block party. The second day was entirely breakout sessions, kind of dialogues. You can go to all these sessions and hear about them. We had 5 tracks. There was AI, cloud, mobile, web, and dialogues. They ran all day, so we all attended many sessions, and we won't have much time to talk about it right now, but in the Ask Me Anything or afterwards, you can ask us about it. So to kick off the day, we started the Google keynote at 10 a.m. with a kind of show from Marc Rebillet. I don't know if you know him, but he's a DJ who makes music in front of everyone live. And in this case, he used AI to kind of make the tracks, and he was mixing it in front of us. And he was using this tool called Music FX. I put the QR code here if you want to try it out. It's essentially the screen right here, and you would kind of put in a prompt, get some audio like you were talking about here. Earlier, there was a question about it, and then you can kind of mix it together kind of live. And if you saw the keynote, it woke you up. It was very energetic, and that's how we kicked that off. After that, we had the Google and developer keynotes. So these are some takeaways. There was a lot more that was announced, but I'll mention some of them. In terms of Gemini, like we mentioned earlier, there was 1.5 Flash that was announced, which is a kind of lightweight Gemini model. And then they also announced the 2 million tokens for Gemini Pro, which is pretty exciting. There's a lot of new things that you can do with that, and it really puts them ahead of every other model. It's by far the biggest context window for LLMs. So it is, if you want to compare different LLM models, this is one of the big advantages of Gemini. And then they talked about Project Astra, which is essentially this video AI assistant where you can have this a camera and like walk around and ask it questions. And what's really cool about it is it keeps the context of the earlier parts of the video as you're asking it questions. So they gave this demo where they were kind of showing some code on camera and asking it a question, what is this code doing? And then they kept walking around, and then they asked, where are my sunglasses? And it responds, oh, your sunglasses were on the desk a few seconds earlier next to the apple. So that was pretty cool. You can imagine some cool things you can do with that. And then after that, they announced some kind of Google Workspace integrations that Stacy mentioned a bit. Like Gmail is getting some helping with writing things, and also some summaries. So that's going to be coming soon. And then Search got AI overviews. If any of you have seen them, it's kind of this window at the top of your Google search that gives this AI response of what you searched. They also announced some new models like Veo. The question earlier about writing text and generating a video, this is their brand new model for doing that. It's like a high resolution video that's created from text. Veo, I think it either just came out or it's about to come out. Imagen 3 was also announced, which is the next step for Imagen. And it's text to image, high resolution, better than Imagen 2. And then AlphaFold 3, I'm in biotech. I'm very interested in what's happening in bio, and they talked a little bit about it, but it's a very exciting technology. If you want to talk about it afterwards, you can come ask me. And then yeah, they announced some tools and new features like Image FX, Video FX, and Music FX. Some of those already existed, others just got more features. So there's some tools you can check out if you want to play with the models that are kind of out there pretty easily. And then some non-AI announcements that I found were really interesting. I don't know if we mentioned them already, but Firebase is getting a kind of relational database new tool with PostgreSQL through Data Connect, the service. And then Kotlin multi-platform, like Jin mentioned earlier, it's getting more support. It's officially getting supported by Google. So that's one of their announcements. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. These are photos of us at the event. These are mostly about the keynote, and then we have our group picture with most of the Montreal organizers. It was a really big venue, a couple thousand people there. I think like over 5,000. This is more pictures, more pictures of the venue. At the bottom right, these are like these booths that they had for demos. You can walk up and kind of try out new technology. I tried out some Android games that were pretty complex, and you got a controller. You can try them out, and they're all running like on a tablet. So that was pretty cool. Day two, it was mostly sessions, so less pictures, but we all attended some sessions. One of the big things that they talked about was this competition, the Gemini API developer competition, where you can win the electric DeLorean from Back to the Future in the corner. If you want to enter, I put the QR code to check it out. There's also like tens of thousands of dollars in prize money. So I think a lot of people are competing, but it was a pretty cool car. And then this session in the bottom left is one of the ones that I attended. It was about AI in healthcare and like how AI can help doctors in their everyday, like with charting and stuff. So it was very interesting. More pictures from day two. And then, yeah, we got some demos. This is the last part I'll talk about. I found these really cool. The first one was, for me, super interesting. It's called Project Starline. It's essentially this flat screen that is 3D, and they were demoing like a video call. It like looked like a hologram, and essentially what it is, it's like 6 cameras, I think, and this special film on the screen that's sending different images to both of your eyes. So you see a 3D image, and it was really weird looking at it. So you can imagine all the kind of applications that are going to come out of that. But it was a really cool technology to try out. And then the other one was just kind of some demo of different tools put together. The AI soccer coach, like this is the score that Jin got. Essentially, you kick a ball, and it was looking at how you were kicking it, tracking the ball, and it was going to give you some scorecard about your performance, your power, accuracy, and then giving you some tips on what you can improve with your kick. So now we're going to go to the panel and ask me anything. I have some questions prepared, but if you have some right now, you can ask away. Not just to me, but all the organizers. And, well, yeah, most of the organizers.
I think the question doesn't necessarily stay on the Google I/O stuff. Maybe any question, right?
Yeah, anything I/O related, maybe about sessions we attended. If not, I can kick it off. Lens, yes.
You talked about video generation.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about that? I didn't quite get that.
Yeah, it's a VO, their new model, VEO.
VEO.
Yeah, text to video. They were showing, I think, if you go on their site, they have I think it's like a video of someone riding a horse, and it was super, super high definition. So it's a pretty cool model to check out. You can kind of like chain these together with Gemini, kind of creating some story, then using VO or Imagen to create kind of concepts. They even showed, I think it was Childish Gambino. Anyways, he was doing like a project, and he was using this VO for storyboarding. So a big cost in doing some like cinema is trying out ideas and getting everyone ready, and then seeing if it works. But you can use the VO to kind of try it out already. Say you want to use like 5mm, whatever camera.
Is it already available for public usage, public preview, or?
I'm not sure yet. I didn't check if it was, but they did announce it.
Okay. I'll check it out. Thank you so much.
Anyone? Any questions?
This is really a broad question, but there's like one thing I'm gonna questioning is how long we have like an internet that will be like free of AI, because like currently like everything is like mixed together, And at some point, like, I don't know, like on there's many platform which you integrate AI inside of it, like even Kara, like the platform for distributing like art for like AI, not without AI. But will there be like at some point like a split with like the web will be AI free? Because like now we're like giving many tools for developers, but at some point like it will happen, like maybe. But like I'm just like
Yeah. So your question is like mostly, when are like we're getting a lot of AI tools, and eventually like when are we going to stop getting?
no, but like at some point like it's like the content that we have like is genuine. Like you can make content like infinite. Like at some point you can make like you can like if you have like you say making video. At some point you can go in theater and like have an infinite movie. Like at some point like there's no creation anymore.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if the models will ever get good enough to really create like true content. I think right now they're really showcasing it as tools to kind of imagine things and make your process quicker more than replacing what you're supposed to be doing. Like the same thing for when you're coding and you're using like Copilot or something. You can use it, but a lot of the time the code isn't very great.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
like-
there for like direction.
That's like one thing that you show is like when it never goes wrong. We didn't see much today of that. Like when it goes wrong.
All right. Any more? I mean, Adam, you don't need to answer. Actually, you can ask someone else to answer the question.
Oh
too,
yeah,
right?
true. Yeah.
No more question? All right.
Want me to
So
keep answering?
my question is more about Gemini. So we have lately integrating Gemini into our production code base, and one of the problem that we found that function calling is most of the time hit or miss. So I'm not sure there's a lot of people here who probably would be using Gemini. So I would like to have a basic idea, like if you guys have used Gemini function calling, and if you guys used it, so what was your experience with it? Okay, so there's a feature with these models which is function calling.
Yeah.
So basically, we can call the function. We can provide a prompt and provide a function. So basically, models will call that function whenever they. I'm not sure when it triggers, but with our use case, it doesn't trigger most of the time. I would say it's 60-40 most of the time. So do you guys face the same issues? I just wanted to know if you guys have any tips on how to improve that or something like that.
I personally haven't used like function calling.
I think we need AI expert to answer.
I don't know if anyone in the. No?
Stacy? No. Stefania?
Oh my God. From zero to hero. So your question is how to improve the function calling because 60% of the time it doesn't work? Okay. That's a good question because I've not used directly function calling because the models that I usually use, they cannot use function calling for now. I don't know how you can improve it. Are you trying to do JSON stuff or what else?
What we do is we provide functions. Now those functions provide JSON data back to the model, but what happens is that the amount of data sometimes functions are probably hallucinate or something, but we don't really. Sometimes it doesn't trigger the function. Gemini responds with some out of the picture question that what I'm talking about. So let's say our application has a list of probes, let's say sensors at particular pharmacies, and when we say okay, summarize how many probes are online at the moment, sometimes it just gets, so let's say 60% of the time it replies with an answer, but on that 40% time it just misses that particular say it fails to answer. So now what we tried is we tried to granularize each function. So this seems to improve the output, but yeah, it's like still 40% of the time it still doesn't work. So yeah.
So I don't have the recipe to
see,
have
yeah.
the perfect.
Yeah, so
What I noticed, because I didn't use it so much, but what I noticed is most of the time it's not really the function calling or the output parser. The issue 100% of the time is more on the model. So since it's generative, however, and it will generate always a different reply. Sometimes the two function will not, what it has been generated, it will not be precise enough for the function calling to say, okay, this can pass, at least for the generation of JSON, which is my case, the only case that I use. So what happens basically, or it will not display anything, or it will display hallucination. So maybe you can try to see if by improving the model performance, you can also improving that part.
So at the moment we are trying ChatGPT now, so seems to provide a better response. But yeah, as these models improve, I guess we'll see better results. Thanks for your answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe if I can help on this one. Most of the time it's a problem with the prompt engineering. So you have really to define your correctly your description of the function coding, the method and also the parameters. And what is very effective is to pass him some example. For example, if someone asks these things, you have to generate this function coding. You can pass him some example into your context, and that will improve, in fact, the way that he's going to detect if it is a function coding or not. I use AI agent on the Vertex AI, and on this point you can do some function calling. It's not working most of the time, but what they do, they propose in fact a mode that you can save in fact the conversation to say that this conversation is good because it was the good flow and we can determine. So, and when you save this conversation, it's going to use it to improve in fact the agent. So what you should do is to make some example to refine your prompt engineering, and you should improve your success of coding.
So something else you can, like adding to the kind of refining the prompt engineering, if you go in, I think it's still in Vertex AI, you can kind of like train the model to do specific things and behavior that you want. And for example, if it's too much to ask for it to do the function calls in a single kind of prompt and response, you can kind of train it to detect when it should make a function call using this SIR training. And then from that, either do a function call or not, kind of split it up into multiple prompts. Sometimes that helps. I know that a lot of people kind of use splitting it into multiple to kind of break it down a bit better. I think we'll call it there. Any other questions? No?